Now, that doesn't mean that every single family home or every multifamily property has the potential to build, right? We have to be mindful of a lot of things. I think now we're at the point where HOAs don't give you a lot of pushback like they did back in 2017 when ADUs were a thing. Junior ADUs are great, but when it comes to investors, it's not the best strategy if your thought is to rent out that home.
I love it. Who can build an ADU? Can any person that has a single family lot, is it condos, townhomes? Who can build them?
Anyone in California, we have a statewide ordinance that allows for you to build ADUs. So this goes to anyone. Now, that doesn't mean that every single family home or every multifamily property has the potential to build, right? We have to be mindful of a lot of things. But essentially, yes, anyone in California could build if they wanted to. Possibly one, possibly two in residential. And then, with multifamily, we have an exciting bill that just passed, which really allows us to scale ADUs, definitely.
Got it. Now, when you say that anybody can build, does that mean like somebody in a condo complex can build or no?
Yeah, I mean, in condos, obviously you're limited with space other than it being a garage conversion, unless it's in a condoized community that has enough space for you to build. I don't really see that being a possibility other than the garage conversion.
Yeah.
But HOAs can't prohibit you from not building, right?
What
You're allowed to build.
what happens if an HOA does want to prohibit you from doing it?
Then that's when you use state law, right, to kind of throw that back at them and say, hey, according to state law, you cannot prohibit us. And that's against the law. So it's really referencing the law back to them. I think now we're at the point where HOAs don't give you a lot of pushback like they did back in 2017 when ADUs were a thing, right? So now I think most HOAs are up to date and they know what's allowed and what's not allowed. And they may impose their own restrictions as far as what the ADU should look like, and a couple other requirements. But they can't say you can't build.
Do JADUs, the junior ADUs, do they have to be owner occupied? Does that vary by city? Does that vary by county? What are your thoughts on that?
So junior ADUs, as of right now, technically you need certificate of occupancy still for junior ADUs. But there's actually a bill right now. I'm a member of the Casita Coalition. So for anyone who wants to learn about ADUs, whether you're seasoned or a newbie, you should definitely become a member because we have monthly meetings where we talk about bills that are in the process of happening. One of those bills is going to address the non-owner occupancy not required for junior ADUs, which is a great thing because, junior ADUs are great, but when it comes to investors, it's not the best strategy if your thought is to rent out that home until this bill, goes through, which hopefully will happen soon.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And then it's also, I imagine that it's also city by city because I had the city of Oxnard at some point and they just eliminated this. Well, they were allowing junior ADUs to be non-owner occupied. So I did two properties that I had and I did an ADU and a junior ADU, but then I'd go to other cities and they would be like, no, it's not like, you can't do it. So it was almost like per city. And I'm guessing that even though the state of California has certain rules, each individual city and county has developed almost certain things that they would accept and certain things that they wouldn't. So I've seen online where people are doing two ADUs on properties, but then I asked some of my architects and I try to do it on one of my properties and they're like, that's not possible. So how is it possible in some cities and not possible in others? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, in regards to like the first thing you mentioned, sometimes it's what they opt into, right? Like the certificate of occupancy, it's a statewide ordinance that you still need a certificate of occupancy for a junior ADU, but certain cities might have opted into not requiring it, just like with AB 1033, right? Which we'll talk about in a bit. But back to how do you build two? Zoning plays a big role, right, in what you're allowed to build and how many you can build because I mean, you could build two or you can build unlimited. Like, for example, in San Diego, you have the ADU bonus rule. Depending on the type of zoning, you can build like multiple ADUs on a single family residence as long as it's within like a transit type of zoning. So there's that specifically for San Diego, right? But San Diego is the only one who has the ADU bonus program. In LA or Orange County, you're looking at different options. I mean, sometimes we explore the option of SB9, which would be able to get us to that point where we could build 2 additional ADUs or a single family home with an 800 square foot ADU. So there's just different strategies and different like bills that you can kind of overlap and use together, right? It's a whole strategy within within a strategy.
Basically, how would somebody, what's the best tip for somebody to find out what they can do and
Yeah.
do, like, for example, like for that property in Simi Valley, I wanted to add another ADU, but the architect told me no. Um, if somebody wanted to get a second opinion, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I think the first step is to really understand the HCD Handbook. So if you look up HCD Handbook. It's free. It's a PDF form that will basically lay out what's allowed and what's not allowed. And then from there, you should reach out to your hyperlocal municipality and figure out like what's feasible in that hyperlocal city. And then once you reference what the city has said versus what the code is saying, then now you have more ammo to then interview other architects because, with us, both of us being realtors, that not all realtors are built the same. And
Yeah.
it's the same with architects. It's the same with builders. Not every architect understands the code, right, when building ADUs. And so it's important to know, like, have they done this type of project in the past? Do they have, well-known projects within that specific city?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have even pre-approved plans that they've done in the past? Like, do they know their stuff when they're building, right? I think
Yeah.
that's key. But
Yeah.
in order for you to vet people out, you have to have knowledge, right? You don't
Of
even know what
course.
to ask.